Today's hearing will review the progress of the Coast Guard's Polar Security Cutter Acquisition Program. I now recognize myself for an opening statement. Today, we're reviewing the progress, frankly, the lack thereof, of the Coast Guard's Polar Security Cutter Program and discussing strategies to ensure the successful completion of this vital acquisition effort. This issue is of paramount importance. The United States must be able to operate effectively in the Arctic to safeguard our nation's security and strategic interests in this rapidly changing region. While the Arctic has long been a region of immense importance, it has recently become a key arena for geopolitical competition. As the ice retreats, new opportunities and challenges emerge, such as rising shipping traffic, untapped natural resources, and shifting national security dynamics. Nations around the globe are positioning themselves to capitalize on these immense opportunities. Of most concern are adversarial nations to the United States. For example, the People's Republic of China, which continues to pursue its self-declared near-Arctic ambitions, is rapidly expanding its icebreaker fleet to bolster its influence in the region. Recent reports indicate that China currently operates 4 icebreakers, with a 5th, named GD, which translates to polar in English, under construction and expected to be fully operational by 2025. Notably, construction of the GD began in November of 2022, and by the time it becomes fully operational next year, it will have been completed in under 30 months, 2.5 years. Meanwhile, Russia commands the world's largest and most advanced icebreaker fleet, consisting of 41 state-owned vessels, including 7 nuclear-powered icebreakers, which it uses to advance economic development and exert geopolitical influence. It is concerning that these two countries are actively working to dismantle both internal and bilateral political and bureaucratic barriers to strengthen their cooperation on Arctic issues. Most recently, China's Premier Li Yuan met with Russian Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin, and the two agreed to intensify their collaboration on Arctic matters, including shipping and polar vessel technology. By contrast, the United States has struggled to maintain even a minimal Arctic presence. The Coast Guard, our nation's primary operator in the Arctic, is relying on just one aging heavy icebreaker, the Polar Star, which is already well past its intended service life, and a single medium icebreaker, the Healy. This is unacceptable. A nation as powerful, resourceful, and innovative as ours must rise to the challenge and do better. The Polar Security Cutter sought to address this critical capability gap, yet delays, cost overruns, and mismanagement have plagued the program from the start. Despite being announced in 2018, let me repeat that, despite being announced in 2018, we're no closer to having an operational Polar Security Cutter now than we were then. The first Polar Security Cutter was originally slated to be operational in, well, this year, 2024. However, based on current estimates, it will not enter service until 2030 at the earliest. Furthermore, the Coast Guard now estimates that the delivery of the first Polar Security Cutter will cost significantly more than originally anticipated, with the actual cost likely aligning more closely with the figures outlined in the Congressional Budget Office's The Cost of the Coast Guard's Polar Security Cutter report, released in August of 2024 in response to requests from Chairman Green and myself on this matter. Given the growing geopolitical importance of the Arctic, I am deeply concerned by this delay and cost overrun. The lack of progress on this program is a disservice to the women and men of the Coast Guard, who are tasked with executing the mission under increasingly challenging conditions. It also undermines our nation's ability to project power, uphold international norms, and compete in a region that will only grow more important in the years to come. As Vice Admiral Gautier stated to this committee in November of 2023, as a great nation, we need to be able to respond at the time and place of our desire, and the Coast Guard needs to advance and grow our assets in order to achieve that. While this situation has been frustrating, we can't afford to dwell on the past failures. Instead, we must focus on the path forward and ensure that the Coast Guard has the assets it needs to meet its mission in the polar regions and protect our national interests. I'm encouraged by my recent discussions with the Coast Guard, which have provided valuable insights into their ongoing efforts. It is evident that the Coast Guard is maintaining a strong and collaborative relationship with the Bollinger shipyards, working diligently to address key aspects of the program. Bollinger is making significant progress toward faithfully executing the PSC program while working with the Coast Guard to finalize the necessary contract modifications, which will formally establish new cost and schedule parameters. I'm cautiously optimistic about the direction these efforts are heading and the potential positive impact they could have on the Polar Security Cutters program ultimate success. I'm also excited about the direction the incoming administration may take in addressing the urgent need for U.S. icebreakers. The Trump administration has an opportunity to prioritize this issue and explore innovative solutions such as enhancing cooperations with allied nations to fill immediate capability gaps. These efforts, paired with a clear commitment to advancing our long-term Polar Security Cutter procurement plan, could significantly strengthen our polar capabilities while reinforcing U.S. leadership in these strategically vital regions. This hearing provides an opportunity to evaluate the status of the Polar Security Cutter, determine the necessary steps to sustain and expand recent progress, and looks to hold accountable those responsible for delivering this critical capability. Thank you to our witness, Vice Admiral Allen, for appearing before the subcommittee today to discuss this important topic. I look forward to your testimony.